going to show you a couple of quick macros that I put together that I found online that are super useful. The first one is an inventory sorting. You can see down here my inventory grid is all over the place, and normally you can open your inventory, right click on something, click sort, but I've got a macro that does that, and I just click it over here, boom, everything's sorted. That macro is this guy here. So you could pause the video and then basically type this, create a macro like this, and you're good to go. The next one I'm going to show you does something similar, but for your armory. So after time, your armory could end up looking like this, where you got weapons all over the place, different jobs. You sell some old stuff, you got all these gaps, and then when you get new items, they go in the gaps and you can't find them, and confusing, right? Well, I've got a macro that sorts that. You click that, and now if I go back, you'll see all my helmets are organized. These all get arranged by class, by levels. Really useful. Again, I'm always trying to stay organized, so that macro is here. So again, pause your video, you can copy these lines to create, and you're good to go. I've also got one for the retainers. I don't use this one as much, but it does kind of the same thing. Sorts all the stuff that you give to your retainers, keeps it organized. Another useful macro that I've got is I've got this down arrow, or this up arrow. What this does is it expands and it kind of cleans up my screen, so watch what happens when I click it. So now all the logs are gone, all the system and options icons are gone. And if I click it, they all come back. So usually if I'm in a fight, I'll like a boss fight or something, I'll clear those out because I don't need them. Or if I'm in a dungeon, I'll just clear those out. I'll keep my map up and just use that. Just kind of clears everything up. And that macro can be found here. So you can see this is hotbar 9. Actually, no, I take that back. I think this is hotbar 9. This menu icon is actually part of hotbar 10. So if I go to my HUD layout, you see down here hotbar 10. The only thing I have in there is that arrow. This is hotbar 9. And then I've created these hotbars 5, 6, 7, and 8, which are hidden over here. And those are used for like pop-out menus. These are kind of complicated, but super useful. So if I click on this button that says signs, now I've got the ability to like mark waymarks where I need to. So if we're in like a raid, I can click where I want those. Or I can clear waymarks. You can assign enemies, you can say not to target enemies. And again, this just collapses when you click that icon. That's this guy here. So you see here it says hotbar copy rogue 3 to current 6. So 6, this is hotbar 6. So what it's doing every time I click this is it's pulling the hotbar from my rogue. It's pulling hotbar 3. So if we look at that, so this is ninja. If I unequip the stone, now I'm rogue. So it's important to use a class that you're done with or not going to use, so the starting jobs are really good for that. For warrior, that would be like marauder. So instead of where my macro says rogue 6, yours might say MRD for marauder 6. But if I pull up, where here's hotbar 6. So this is a HUD layout that I don't use. You can see this is HUD number 6. And so all it's doing when I have my normal HUD up there, which let's switch back to that. All it's doing is it's taking the information from my hotbar 3 from my rogue, and it's transferring it to wherever hotbar 6 is. And so again, that macro for signs is this guy. So yours might say MRD, and then whatever hotbar you put it in to current 6. And then hotbar display on and off just makes it go away and disappear. So again, really useful for kind of keeping the screen clean. And I've done this also for all of the professions, so like the crafting. And so again, if you look at my HUD, or I'm sorry, not my HUD, macros. So if we look at this professions one, it's copying from Conjurer 4, which is what the White Mage starting job is. And it puts it in place number 7. And then same thing if I look at the gear sets, these are all my jobs basically. So all your fighting classes, your classes of war, battle, disciples of war, whatever it's called. So again, it's taking whatever I put in Conjurer 1. So if we looked at Conjurer 1, we would see these icons. If I go, and so you can see if I click the sword, this allows me to switch to these jobs instantly. So right now, let's say I want to switch to my samurai, that, and boom. Samurai! Now, the one thing that I added to this is these plus signs. What those do is they cycle the different types of jobs, because they all didn't fit in one bar. And so this kind of allows you to cycle through, which is pretty cool. Again, just allowing you to save screen space. So like, let's look at this gear sets one, for instance. Alright, so if I click on this gear sets, it says, because again, keep in mind that this hotbar that goes here is hotbar number 8. It's just hidden. And that's on all my jobs. So if when I click this, it's saying pull whatever I have in Conjurer hotbar 1 and put it on hotbar 8, which is right there. So if I look at Conjurer, and again, that's White Mage. If I unequip the screen, it switches me to Conjurer. Again, this is a class that I'm done with now that I've hit level 30 and unlocked White Mage. I'm never going to play as that again, and so it doesn't really matter what I use these hotbars for. But if we look at, so the macro was for hotbar 1, and you can see hotbar 1 is right here. And the easier way to see that would be if I change my HUD to HUD 4. You can see hotbar 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just created this HUD layout to help me edit these hotbars. So here's Conjurer hotbar 1. Now, the way I made it so that they cycle is if we look at the plus. So let's see what this one's called. It's a melee DPS. Melee DPS. So that basically says if you click this, now we want to copy Conjurer hotbar number 2 to place 8. So all it's doing when I click this plus sign is it's saying, now show me this hotbar 2. And so then when that happens, hotbar 2 has this plus sign called ranged DPS. If I click on ranged DPS, it says copy conjurer hotbar 3, which is right here. And so then this plus sign, tank healer, should say to copy conjurer 1, which it does right there. And so basically these just link to each other. If I click this plus sign, it says show me this bar. If I click this plus sign, it says show me this bar. And if I click this plus sign, it says show me that first bar again. So again, really nice for being able to keep your screen clean and not have to have these all, being able to switch jobs and clean screen. The last thing that I'd like to show you is you'll notice if I select one of these, my whole HUD is going to change. So right now I'm using HUD 4, which is just the one that I use for editing hotbars. Well, let's say I want to switch to my Ninja again. If I click Ninja, watch what happens. Boom. I got all my stuff, everything goes back to normal. Now how did that happen? Well, as part of these icons that show like what class to switch to, let's take a look at those. So if I look at Ninja, so this M icon 1 gear set is basically saying the icon that I want this to be is gonna be gear set number 1. And if I look at my gear sets, gear set number 1 is Ninja. So the icon is going to show whatever gear set icon is. Then it says gear set change, or /GS change 1 means basically equip this gear set, which is my Ninja. That's why when I clicked it, it switched me from Conjurer to Ninja. The last part of it is HUD layout. So it says HUD layout 1, meaning switch back to your HUD layout number 1, which it did. Before it was on that, but part of that macro switched it to that. The nice part about that is that I've got 2 macros set up. Let me step outside real quick. So I've got 2 HUD layouts set up. This is my DPS HUD layout. You can see my party list is over here. If I pull up my HUD layout, the middle of my screen is pretty open. Party list, alliance list, everything kind of over off to the side. As a DPS, I really don't care too much about the party. But for my healing and tanking jobs, I really like to see the party list here because it's more towards the middle of my screen. I can see the boss HP, I can see their boss status, I can see what the boss is doing, if I have a focus target, all my enemies, my party list, so everything is all right here. My eyes are basically focused in this area the whole time. And so I'll use this HUD layout for tanking and healing, and then I'll use this one, which is similar, for when I'm doing DPS jobs. So you'll see if I switch to my paladin, watch what happens with my party list over here. I moved my party list here, and now I've got my tanking HUD layout, and yeah. So anyways, kind of complicated, but really useful. It took me a while to kind of wrap my head around how these worked, but once I did, it was pretty easy. It obviously took some time to set these up, but doing so has been like really helpful. A couple other useful ones I've got is the limit break. So whenever your limit break bar is full, I don't really use it for my tank, but if you look at my Ninja, you can see I've got it down here. So if I need to pop the limit break, I've got it assigned to a macro. see the other thing. Let's see what I got. I got some hello and goodbyes. Yeah, that's kind of pretty much it. I created this one called Mark. I don't really use it. I'll show you what it does though, it's kind of neat. So if we look at the macro itself, it says M error off, focus target. Then target forward basically means cycle to the next target. And then it says mark attack 2. Then it's targeting. So what this is going to do is it's going to take 3 enemies and mark them with a priority. And then it'll focus you on the first one. So if we click this little ladybug and then we click the icon, watch what happens. 1, 2, 3. So now if I'm in a party, in a dungeon or whatever, and I click that, everybody knows, oh, we're going to fight the little ladybug first. Now target number 2. Now target number 3. So, kind of useful. Maybe in higher level stuff it makes more sense to use, but pretty neat the way it works. So anyways, those are some macros I use. I just wanted to share those with you, and hopefully they help. Hopefully I didn't confuse you too much. And talk to you later.